I don't think Valiant Comics gets the positive praise that it deserves. Several years ago, I was listening to the Goat Kicker podcast by Carl Smith, and he was talking about the rebooting of Rye from Valiant. That's the Rye comic. He couldn't say enough good things about it. And I thought, what the heck? I'll check it out. I was pleasantly surprised at the fantastic art, the amazing storytelling that they did. I then proceeded to read their superhero team titles called Unity, which led to the Ninjak title that they print as well. Last but not least, I ran into Faith, which Carl had mentioned as well. I just never got around to her title until a few weeks ago. On a side note, or side tangent, whatever you want to call it, I gotta mention I've purposely, for the most part, avoided most Marvel and DC titles. I guess you could say it's my way of rebelling against the popularity of both publishers. Yeah, I'm that kind of rebel, right? But anyway, it's not that I never read them. It's just not as much as I've read into the independents like Valiant and Image. Anyway, back to the story. Faith. Jim Shooter and David Lapham created Faith Herbert, codename Zephyr, in 1992. She's a sci-fi and comic book nerd, which leads her to adopt more traditional superhero characteristics that her friends, such as secret identities and supervillains. She's a huge fan of Doctor Who. She's a legit fangirl who creates listicles and posts cat videos by day while fighting crime by night. Physically, Faith isn't your stereotypical female hero. What I mean is she's not a size 0 with a large bust line that most artists in the comic book industry tend to adopt. I know that does sound a little bit crude, but come on guys, let's face it. Comic artists do get a little carried away when it comes to the female form in comics. I like the fact that the creators of Faith made her more realistic. She's one of us. She's a nerd girl who doesn't look like how society wants a young woman to look. She's not super skinny. She's not into being popular and pretty. She just wants to enjoy her nerdy stuff and be left alone. And by the way, she uses her powers for good. In fact, many of her storylines, she questions the motives of the other heroes because she doesn't want to inadvertently hurt somebody else. She has an innocence about her, and that's why she's a breath of fresh air. She's relatable, trying to balance a job, a boyfriend, and catching the latest episode of Doctor Who. Since her character is innocent, it's nice to read a more lighthearted book. Maybe you can relate. When you're reading more dark books, does it affect your mood? I know I can get that way. I have to realize when it's time